into a little betting, I want to remind everyone that you can find these odds as they are updating minute by minute through DraftKings Sportsbook. That's where all these bets are being made through. That's where all these odds come from. So shout out to DraftKings. Also want to remind everyone that we are not professionals. We are literally newbies at this.
This is we've only done this for 5 months, you know?
Yeah, so do not take betting advice from us. This is not meant to be put out there as betting advice. It is simply just two guys that wanted to start betting on sports, fighting, and we're doing it. And
Yep.
as you can see by our success rate, we're new at it. So
Right.
um, just wanted to throw that out there. If anybody was dumb enough to take our picks before, like, just stop.
Fair.
Anyways, so here we are again. Unit sizes on fleek.
Yes,
Getting
they're a little
nuts.
bit everywhere, huh?
So I'll explain mine. I'll actually go down and explain mine singles, and then I'll kick it to you. I am messing around with the unit sizes. I may or may not have increased what my unit size is, but look, we don't unit. There's no shame on here.
Yes.
So we don't. That's why we do the units, because that's all that matters.
It's true.
That's really what matters.
How many
It's
units
not-
positive are we, you know?
Yes, exactly. So it's allowing me to play around a little bit more with it,
Yep.
which is what I'm happy about. As far as the single unit plays, Jeff Molina was yours. You had one and I had a half, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the ones that I put a full unit on was Botello Silva fight does go to distance. Women's MMA, it's over 50% of the time going to distance. I feel like it's kind of a misogynistic way to like bet on these fights. But if you just go down their resumes, both capable of some fun fights. I mean, I remember Silva fighting for the Dana White Contender Series last season.
Yep.
And she was actually in a pretty fun fight, finished the fight. So it could be a little risky. Minus 150, you just typically don't get those kind of odds for two women that are, Botello has been in the UFC for a long time, had a pretty iffy run. This is Silva's debut.
Yeah.
I just see this fight going to full distance, and at minus 150, you typically don't get it at that cheap for women's MMA. So it was something worth putting a unit on, in my opinion. And I also put a unit on Ode Osborne to win the money line minus 180. He is his opponent. I forget his name, but he's 4-3 in his MMA career. Now, it doesn't exactly tell the full story.
Yeah.
He's been in the UFC actually for multiple fights, so he's been fighting despite the lack of experience on his professional record. But Ode Osborne is just someone that I think he's got a breakout in him.
That's the guy you want to see put it together,
Yeah,
you know?
I do believe that he has a breakout in him. Like, he could be one of those guys. I'm not necessarily he would have been a good answer for when I was talking about unranked fighters that you could think of. That he's the kind of guy I could see just going on a big run and becoming like a flyweight contender. But as it stands, he's big for the flyweight division. He's very talented. I think here having the experience advantage, which is something he hasn't had the advantage in most of his fights, I think it'll play big for him.
Yeah.
So those are my single units. I did also put a half unit on Jeff Molina money line at minus 180. Again, I do respect Zamugailov's talent. I just think Jeff Molina's legit, and when you consider the run he's on, I don't see Zalgas being able to slow him down. I worry a little bit about Zalgas also being on that he is on the brink of potentially being cut.
Yeah.
What's that going to do to his mental state? Jeff Molina, riding high, 2-0 in the UFC, both great performances so far. So I did put a half unit on that. I also put a half unit on Trezano Almeida to go to distance. A bit of a risky one here, minus 165. Both high action fighters.
Yeah.
But both guys that are so durable that I just don't really see this fight. I could see it being a great fight, but I have a hard time seeing either one of these guys getting stopped. Almeida, by the way, UFC debut. He was on the Contender Series, lost an awesome fight with Daniel Zellhuber Trezano's been around for a while. He's coming off a great performance in his last outing. So I think this has the makings of a great fight, but ultimately one that I think goes the distance at 0.5. And my gosh, another one. But I forgot I added this one. 0.75
last minute
units.
decision.
Yeah, right before we started recording, Dominic was throwing some stats at me. So if this one doesn't hit, I'm going to blame him.
Yeah, right. I'll pay you the 0.75.
It's minus 200, which is literally as far as I can stretch it before I'm putting this in a parlay.
Yeah.
Favret, Dinov, and Michaelitis. I have this fight not going to distance. Just look, guys. I mean, these two guys, that's all they do is finish fights. So
or get finished.
Yes, exactly. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit more comfortable with this one, that you kind of have the two ways to go about it.
Exactly.
Both guys' chins haven't held up exactly well in their last few fights, especially. So I was only able to put 0.75 units, truthfully. My balance had gone empty, and for some reason my card wouldn't let me put more money on my account. So
donate link in the bio.
That's why it was 0.75 units instead of 1 or something. I am pretty confident in this one, but
yes.
Yeah, this one feels like a lock. Knock on wood.
Yeah, please do.
So Dominic, talk about your singles.
Yeah, so obviously I did. Mine were all just single units. Jeff Molina, we've already talked about it. We broke down the fight a little bit. I just believe in this guy. I think he's a really legitimate talent for this division right now. I think he's got crisp hands and just a well-rounded skill set that I think gets the job done against a guy in Zalgas who has fought good competition, but at the end of the day, he's 1-3 in the UFC. Molina's got the momentum. I like that side. Johnny Munoz money line. This is the lone plus money bet on this week's bet slip, which is interesting. And this was the last one that I added onto my bet slip. This is one I went back and forth on for quite some time. But Johnny is a guy that is a jiu-jitsu ace, right? A black belt. Very good. 11-1 record, only one loss. He's going up against Tony Gravely. Now, Tony spoiled a lot of people's bet slips when he fought last. He was an underdog going to that, if I'm not mistaken, and won relatively decisively, a unanimous decision. He's well-rounded. He has put it together lately in his career. He's 22-7, but there's just a part of me that really like Johnny Munoz in here. He's the younger guy. I feel like he's just the more athletic, explosive, more paths to victory style of fighter. And when I mentioned that BJJ black belt, he's got 9 wins out of his 11 via submission. Tony Gravely has 5 of his 7 losses via sub. Now, I didn't stretch it as far as going Munoz by submission, but if you're feeling ballsy out there, it's worth a sprinkle. Maybe let us know if you do that. But I like Munoz at plus 110. I'm willing to take that risk.
I like the logic to stick with the money line play because it's plus money already. Let's not get too. That's how we lose, Dom. That's why
we had the week off, right? This is my get right week.
This is the get right week. I like it.
So, also, I love Ode Osborne money line. I almost put that in. That was next on the sheet. I just thought I'd mention that to know. I like that he played that. I did go with Renat. I'm going to fuck this last name up.
The K's silent, so, okay.
Favret Dinov.
Yeah. So it's really not that hard. You just take the K and the H out. It's not that hard.
Renat Favret Dinov by finish, minus 110. Listen, Noah put money down on the fight to end via finish. Well, I'm going a step further and taking Renat to get that win. He's 18-2. He's coming in from UAE Warriors. That's a very much respected regional promotion out there. He's actually the guy that just knocked out Eric Spicely. I think we even mentioned it on this show.
I'm pretty sure we did.
And for Michaelitis, he welcomed Alex Pereira into the UFC, got knocked out. And it's just, while he's a good talent, he's 13-5. It's not a pretty record. All 5 of those losses have been via finish. I just feel like Renat is going to get the job done in his UFC debut. And then my last single was Osborne and Adeshev to not go the distance. Now, this one, a little risky because this was, does it go the distance at minus 105 or do not go the distance at minus 125? So either way, you're getting good odds. And both these guys are coming off decisions in their last fight. But I just have a feeling that someone is going to make a statement in this one. And hopefully it's Ode Osborne for Noah's sake, and then it's going to be great for the bet slip. But either way, I just, for some reason, am envisioning a finish to happen. Both guys do get finishes, don't get me wrong. So I was just willing to take that risk at minus 125. I think the winner of that fight will have a statement be made, and I think it comes decisively. So that's why I sprinkled that one on as that single.
Nice. As for the parlays, I went pretty big.
2 weeks in a row.
2 units on this parlay. Did I have 2 units on my last parlay?
On the one that we don't want to discuss anymore, yes.
Yeah. The one that, well, I won't. I'm not going to make Dom relive that.
Get right week.
Yeah, exactly. Minus 110. I did not remember that I put 2 units on that, so that does not... All of a sudden, it's all get right.
He's having flashbacks.
Yeah, I am right now. So, okay, I do like this parlay.
I do too.
I too often I like to pretty the parlays up.
Yeah.
I like to do. I find myself only wanting to do only money line plays or only, these prop bets on these parlays. And I'm like, what am I doing that for?
Yeah.
Do the smart bets, okay?
Yeah.
Quit being stupid.
I feel that.
For me, I'm like, I feel very confident in Aaron Blanchfield and Damon Jackson. I already spoke about both of them, kind of why I like them a lot. And then Felice Herrig and Karolina Kowalkiewicz is on this card, which is kind of a decent bout for 2 women that have seen their better days, but still kicking, still hanging around.
Yeah.
But I don't see either one of them finishing this fight. I think this fight goes to the distance. I felt very confident out of all the fights on this card that this would be the one that would go to distance. So let's remember this if you have to take a clip out here for when it inevitably, Karolina lands a 1-punch knockout.
Well, listen, if it makes you feel any better, this is the second time these two have fought. First one was a split decision for Karolina. So if that makes you feel better. They've already went the distance once.
It does.
So.
Will my streak of parlays remain cursed? Only time will tell. Minus 110, 2 units. Who's riding with me?
I like it, Noah. Clearly, I'm doing it. I mean, basically 2 legs of it because I went with a 3-leg money line this week. Minus 127. Couldn't quite get it to plus odds, but I'll take it. These were the 3 biggest favorites on the card. Aaron Blanchfield actually has closed since these bets were placed. But she was minus 475 personally there. Damon Jackson's like a minus 575. And then Movzar was all the way up plus 400. I think he's back down to around 380 right now. But regardless, those are 3 huge favorites. Blanchfield, we already discussed. I highly believe in her skill set. Damon Jackson, I almost wanted to do a single bet to him for Damon Jackson to win by finish. I think there's great value there. And if you want to take it a step further, I think he can even get a submission win, but I didn't want to risk it. And then for Movzar, it's funny. I brought this up to Noah off recording. I said, on Sunday, I was talking to him. I said, what do you say? Like half unit sprinkled on Danny Ige. He's like a plus 380. Then I put Evlo Evan in my parlay here. So I completely did a 180 there. I think he is that legit of a talent. I think this could be like a coming out party, quote unquote, to get that big win, to crack into the top 10. That's the 3-leg money line.
Yeah, well said. Let us know what plays you guys are going to be making this weekend, what sportsbook you're using. If you hit it big, send us the receipts, and maybe we'll show them off on the show. Who knows?
Yeah, that's right.
So,